I'm going to show you first off what's in evidence, State's Exhibit number 7. Would you identify what that is a photograph of?
That is a photograph of the front of my front yard and the side of Gary's house.
And that's taken the night of the shooting?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 6 in evidence. Would you identify what that is?
That's also a picture of my front yard.
Okay. Taken from where?
The west side of the street, facing east.
On Smith Street?
Oh, yes, on Smith Drive. I'm sorry.
Smith Drive. And
Yes, sir.
is Exhibit 7 also taken from out on the west side of Smith Drive of your house?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to show you what's in evidence of State's Exhibit number 8. Can you identify what that is?
That is taken of Gary's front yard from across the street of his house on Smith Drive.
Now I want to show you what's in evidence as State's Exhibit 9. What's that photograph of?
That is a picture of Roger laying on the ground in between the two houses.
And what's going on with it?
The paramedics are working on it.
Okay. So this is obviously taken the night of the shooting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, on Defense Exhibit 2 here, which is the diagram we previously showed you.
Before you leave those first four, so I can know what's going on, can I look at
Oh,
those
yes,
first
sir,
four?
absolutely. Okay, now this photograph, State's Exhibit 9, showing the paramedics working on Mr. Pecor. On Defense Exhibit 2 here, the diagram of the scene, we've got, obviously, looks like diagram of 3 individuals. Which of those individuals is Mr. Pecor depicted in this?
He's right there down by the street.
Okay, so he's in between the two houses here?
Yes. In between my house and Gary's house, laying in the middle patch of grass there in between the driveways.
Okay.
Can I see that?
Yes.
So, Ms. Blake, Roger is the little stick figure that's
Yes,
in
sir.
between the two cars?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, the next one I want to show you here is State's Exhibit 12. What is that a photograph of?
That is a photograph of in between our houses.
Okay, and is this your house in the background?
It is,
Okay,
to the right.
all right. Now, this photograph is a closer-up photograph. Describe what that photograph is. This would be State's Exhibit 13.
That is a photo of my carport with the paramedics, I guess apparently working on my husband
Okay, so obviously this was taken
the night of,
the night of
yes.
the shooting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and this is your carport, and they're working. Now, my question is, again, Judge, I'll show you this.
Okay.
And that's obviously in your carport.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And back to, I'm sorry, I didn't show you this one.
Now, what's 12 a picture of?
That is in between both of our houses, our carport areas, and the little grassy median in between them.
So,
Can I use this to refer to it, Mr. Bailey?
is Roger somewhere over here in Exhibit 12?
Roger is actually back this way. The picture was taken closer up to the houses than where Roger was.
Right, so whose carport is there?
On the right-hand side, that would be mine, and to the left of that picture would be Gary's carport.
And the tent?
The tent is right in the middle of them.
All right, thank you.
Now, on diagram on Defendant's Exhibit 2, can you show me where your carport is located?
My carport is right there.
Right there? Okay. And the stick figure that's portrayed there?
That would be my husband
Okay, in your carport area?
in my carport, yes, sir.
Okay. Fell where he was shot?
As far as I know. I'm not positive because I wasn't out there.
Okay. Now, I want to show you State's Exhibit 14. What is that a photograph of?
The paramedics working on my husband.
And And that is in your carport?
It is, right outside my door.
So do you see the door into your house somewhere in there?
The door is actually back behind this guy's shoulder area. You can't see it because of the picture, but it's actually right back here is my door area.
Got it. So is your husband kind of leaning up against
Kind
the
of leaning
walls
against
out
the
there?
door. He had his head apparently on a little concrete part to step up into the door. That's where he laid his head.
Now I want to show you what's in evidence of State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do. That's Gary's carport.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, I
someone-
can.
Okay.
That's Gary.
That's Mr. Hembry laying in his carport next to his car.
Yes, sir, it is. Right by his door as well. That's his door where the cop is standing. Right back there is his door.
Where do you see Mr. Hembry in the picture?
And again, referring back to Defense Exhibit 2, diagram here. Can you show me where Mr. Hembry is laying as depicted in that photograph?
Right there in his car.
This is State's Exhibit 10. Can you identify what that is?
That's Roger with the paramedics working on him.
And finally, this is State's Exhibit 4. Can you identify,
That's Gary Hembry
is this laying in the position that you?
in his carport.
Thank you.
Can I see that?
Okay. And ma'am, you didn't take these photographs?
No, I did not.
Judge, for the record, this was part of that exhibit. They were taken by law enforcement as sources of photographs.
You're in evidence.
I don't have any further questions.
Redirect.
Perhaps.
No questions? Thank you, ma'am. You said that. Do you want Ms. Blake subject to recall?
I don't need a recall, Judge.
Mr.
Which I would like to be subject to recall.
You do want?
I do want possibly to be subject to recall.
You need to still wait outside with the other witnesses. You're still subject to that rule we discussed.
Sure.
Thank you. Please call your next witness.
Judge has stated her pre-trial motion as to judicial notice in the injunction hearing. I was going to go ahead and publish that.
You have a marked into evidence CD or DVD?
It's part of the same. We try to put as much stuff on this one as possible.
So that's, read the number off the back.
Defendant's number one.
Defendant's number one. Okay, so there's
I have a separate disc if you'd like to get that.
No, I don't care. I'm just trying to preserve your appellate record. And so the recording of the proceedings with Judge Moxley around that?
Yes.
All right.
You guys got that from us, right?
Deputy McClellan, the screen's coming down.
Actually, this is not going to come down. This is just audio.
We got the audio only. That's all we
It was in
ordered for
chambers, I
service.
believe. So.
Okay.
Pizza, like pizza or fair. Pizza. Sure, I do.
So what happened that caused you to seek an injunction?
Well, we repeat the next round that started on the 12th of August. And probably about 12:17 p.m. asked if I could come to the house right away. On my arrival, my son sitting in the south driveway across the street from 1950 Smith Drive, where the respondent resides. That person was in a very angry state of mind, appeared to be very volatile. He was being taunted and threatened by the people in the front yard of 1950 Smith Drive, which included the respondent.
It would be better if you don't read. It would be better if you don't read because I'm having a tough time following you. Can you tell me, this is a repeat violence, what violent acts has the respondent done to you?
The respondent made numerous violent threats to use golf club, baseball bat. During that first confrontation,
Okay, let's talk about the first confrontation. Where was it?
it was across the city, across the residential street.
What street was it?
Sir?
What street was it?
Smith Drive.
It was on Smith Drive. And where was the respondent? Prior to
He was up in the front yard of 1950 Smith Drive, and we were across the street in a vacant house driveway.
He lives in 1950 Smith Drive. Anyone else?
There's Gary Henry, Justin Nobles, Kim Cass, and 5 or 6 children in there.
Okay. So you indicated that at this instant he came out and said something to you?
Yes, and he was directing first towards me, it's the old man, and he kicked you, and take the golf club to your head and stuff like that.
When he said those words to you, where was he?
He was standing across the street in the front yard of 1950.
And where were you?
I was across the street in the driveway,
How far away?
probably 65, 70 feet.
Okay. Did the respondent have anything in his hands?
No, sir.
Okay. So even though he said the word golf club, there wasn't a golf club in
Right,
his hand?
that's correct.
Okay. Did he do anything other than say the words? Did he attempt to cross the street? Did he come close to you?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, so that was on this next incident when I actually filed an injunction.
Okay. So on this first occasion, he said the words to you, but did nothing over that cost you a particular threat.
Correct.
So the next time you go there is how long after the first time?
Before the 22nd, which would be 10 days. And on that day, I was able to walk with my son while I was walking his dog because of the continuous repetitive threats and harassment and everything that have been coming from the responder and Gary and the other people at the residence, including children. That night we walked and came out of his house and walked east on Swiss Drive, which was opposite direction from where respondent lives. At that time, there was absolutely nobody on that street. There was not one other moving person out there. We walked all the way around Swiss Drive and we came back. Makes a circle with her side. We came back and we were just about to the driveway. There'd still been nobody out. I had not observed any person moving out on the street. And then as we got past it and just back to my son's driveway to go in his house, I heard a very, very loud voice which startled me. I went up a baseball bat to that F9 man and teach each other. And I heard it was loud enough and I was afraid it might be close, so I whirled around to check the distance from the threat. And the respondent was up in the already 1950 Smith Drive, and he was walking across over his arm out. Now, when he got in the line, I could see it was his arm. So I don't feel particularly threatened, but it's just repetitive, you know. It's a constant threat. And I'm concerned because of the respondent's criminal background already, that he's taking care of something.
Let me ask. Are there more incidents than these two with you? I'm just asking. Are these the two incidents that relate to you as opposed to anyone else?
Right. Yes, it just me directly.
Okay. And that's where I'm going.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is determine whether there's repeat violence based on to you, the petitioner. When he said those words to you about a baseball bat, he did not have a baseball bat in his hand.
Not when I was observing. When I heard around and he was coming from the shadows into the light, I could immediately see that he was holding his arm up. Did not appear to be a baseball bat. He was about 100 feet away and he was walking my direction before he stopped at the back property line.
Did he ever attempt to strike you?
Most of the women that close to each other. I tried to maintain the distance.
Did he ever have a weapon in his hand that you felt threatened by?
But I remember seeing him.
Are there any other communications electronically, by phone, any other communications that the respondent has had with you?
Yes.
Let me say what repeat violence is. Repeat violence is two acts of violence, one of which occurred in the last 6 months. Now, words can constitute repeat violence if, in fact, at the time the words were entered or uttered, the respondent had a present ability to carry out the threat and did some act toward you which caused you reasonable fear that violence was about to take place. For instance, if you have a golf club in his hand and he was close enough to swing it, if you had a baseball bat in his hand, he was close enough to swing it. Does not mean, repeat violence is not designed to prohibit uncivil conduct, rude conduct. It's not that. It's violence. Basically, what you have to have for repeat violence, if it's not stalking, is two criminal acts which could be prosecuted in court. Okay? It's not there. That's just the law. It's not designed to say, will you be good, will you be a good citizen, will you do what the golden rule says, will you do? It doesn't do that. It's designed to say, if you have threatened violence or done violence to someone and it's happened twice, then you get a repeat violence injunction. So I would say, as to you, these two incidents don't classify as repeat violence. That's the basis for the injunction. Therefore, I can't grant the injunction as to you.
Yes.
And that's just the law. Okay, so I would decline to enter an injunction as to you and Mr. Woodward.
Judge, it may be obvious, but that's the injunction hearing involving Mr. Woodward Senior statement. I just want to make sure that was clear. It wasn't already obvious to you from yesterday.
I know it said Father Woodward.
Okay. Unless you ask, we'll assume you know.
Unless you ask, we're going to assume you know who's.
I can't figure something out, I'll say so.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Now, we've got several cases, so we'll go through them, but that's what I'm going to do. And if you just have a seat outside, you'll be good. Thank you.
May I also? Yes, sir. You just have a seat outside, please.
We got a minute. We have
No, we-
Okay, great.
And not Mr. Can I say something there just for the record?
No,
No, okay.
don't say anything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Terry Blake and Woodward.
That's good.
Yes.
That was the only one with this one.
Morning, Judge Boxer.
Okay, Terry Blake.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what happened that caused you to seek an injunction?
On August 12th, I believe it was, Mr. Woodward came over with a policeman and accused my neighbor's daughter of stealing a floor full of duct tape off his porch. He went back home. My neighbor decided to start taking pictures of his chickens and stuff like that. Mr. Woodward came down apparently to confront my neighbor, Mr. Hembry, while he was taking pictures of his house, standing in the middle of the road, yelling obscenities, trying to taunt all the neighbors in the road to fight him. When he was in the road saying, "Come on, you want a piece of me?" he lifted his shirt, brandished a firearm. At that point, I made my children one time. Tried to tell Mr. Woodward to go home, and ever since then, it's been every day, something, every day.
When you saw that you deleted your firearm, can you tell me how far away you were?
It was approximately 1 yard away, like across the street. There's a yard across my street. I have pictures I can show you, like someone had set up the neighborhood.
Just tell me how far away you were.
It was in the middle of the street, and I was probably a car length behind my sidewalk outside my house.
And what did you actually see with regard to the firearm?
He lifted his shirt. It was the butt end of a pistol right here, tucked in the side of his pants.
There were some firearms with you.
Yes, my dad works at a pawn shop. He has tons of firearms, hand pistols, shotguns, all kinds of firearms. I mean, I'm not particularly familiar with how to use them or anything like that, but I do know a lot about them.
What words were uttered at the time that the shirt was lifted up?
Do you want a piece of this?
You want to see this?
As he lifted his shirt, he kind of started to out.
Okay. And when you saw that, what was your state of mind?
My state of mind was to get my kids inside the house and to try to talk Mr. Woodward into going home.
Were you afraid?
At that point, yes.
When was this in August?
August,
Was that the first,
the very first incident was, sir.
were there other ones with you?
Yes, there was another one outside. I had a sign hanging on my house that said "No Billy" with the word "Billy" underlined. This was after that incident because I did not want Billy at my house. One of the neighbors.
At your house before?
Yes, my husband and him were best friends until all of this came up.
And how long a period of time were they best friends?
From April,
April
We moved in April of this year, April 2012.
Oh, so we were in your home,
My children had played at his home.
and then you've gone out together on social occasions, got to the park.
Once or twice. We went and watched some horses at one point. And my husband had helped him out with some things they needed, unloading trailers or vice versa.
Okay. The second time, tell me what happened then.
The second incident, there has been many of them, Judge Moxley. They were in the law together, to be honest. I can't remember exact dates. The second incident was,
Violence was a sort of threat violence. So when I'm talking about subsequent incidents, I'm talking about which might involve either violence threatened or actually perpetrated.
okay,
Any of those.
when he said he was going to disembowel me twice in front of my children.
And where were those times? Where did that happen?
He was at the bottom of his driveway. I was in my driveway. I live, his house is on the corner, there's a road, and then the next door neighbor's house and my house.
What was the occasion? Why did those words be said?
Because a neighbor came down and complained about my no hillbilly sign and told me to take it down, and I told him I wasn't going to. I had every right to keep that sign there.
Okay. And where was Mr. Woodward?
At that point, in the middle of the street, I have pictures to show you them standing in front of my house, talking.
And what did he say then?
Well, Mr. Woodward didn't say much at all. It was me and William had a confrontation. William took him away. My neighbor said something that actually fired him up, and I was blamed for it.
Let me talk about William.
Okay.
What did he say?
That he was going to disembowel me twice.
Okay.
Because he thought that I said I was going to have people rape his daughter. That was not me that said that.
Okay. How do you know that he thought that?
Because he looked straight at me in the middle of the street and said it. I'm going to disembowel you twice if anyone touches my daughter.
Okay.
They're saying I'm paying to have people rape his daughter. That's not true. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I did come off with some things that I probably shouldn't have said in the heat of the moment.
What did you say?
After my neighbor said it, I did say it.
Say what?
That I was going to have kids mess with his daughter.
Why did you say that?
Because of all the harassment
How
and
old is his daughter?
his daughter, I think she just turned 12. My daughter just turned 11 and 6.
Okay. Turn it around. How would you like that to be said about your daughter?
I wouldn't like it. And that's why I'm not making excuses for it. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. But after being taunted over and over and over and over again, no.
No.
But by Mr. Woodward,
Yeah. Somebody told you. How would you say that?
because it hurt him like he's been hurting me and my family.
Yeah. Was the 12-year-old more out there?
No. No.
Suppose the 12-year-old hears that this is
His wife wasn't out there and she filled all the reports out.
deflecting my conversation.
No, I understand. I shouldn't have said it. You're absolutely right. I should not have said it. I'm not making excuses. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. I wouldn't have that done. I did say I had a season moment. But I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. I admit that.
So the way it worked was, he said bad things to you, conditioned on if something happens to my daughter.
Well, no, this was all because of the chicken, and it's been ongoing.
No,
It's
I'm
all
not talking about the ongoing. I'm going to go right back specifically.
to this point that happened because of everything prior. That's what I'm saying.
This is the problem. You have to focus on the violent episode of the threat. The threat was a conditional threat. If something happens to my daughter, I want to disembowel you. That's right after you said I'm going to have someone mess around with his walker.
Well, I didn't say that at that point.
You said at some point.
I did. After he said he was going to disembowel me twice, I told him, you're right, I am going to have people mess with your daughter. That's exactly how it happened. Yes, I did say it. I'm not right for saying it. But it was after he said he was going to disembowel me twice in front of our children. I was trying to get everybody to go home.
There was someone that said something about rape before he said those words, though, because you told me.
My neighbor said it right before he said it, and he looked straight at me. and said, I'm going to disembowel you twice. And my kid said, what does that mean? I said, not nice things, go in the house. And my 11-year-old looked it up online.
You report the gun episodes in the police?
Yes.
Did they come out and check?
As far as I know, yes. They were at my house, his house.
He had a firearm.
Yes, sir.
What kind of firearm do you have, sir?
I have a total of 4 firearms. I have a Beretta FS92, 9mm.
Did you display the firearm as indicated here?
No, sir, I did not. I had 2 empty knife sheaths in my pocket. One was in my front pocket.
Did you want to make believe as if you had a firearm?
Actually, sir, if I could
No.
tell you,
Just
I
answer-
actually...
Just answer my
Okay,
question.
yes, sir.
That'll be, it'll go a lot better. Did you try to create the impression that you had a firearm?
What I did, sir, and let me demonstrate to you. When Gary Hembry got me fired up by taking pictures of my property,
I don't want to know.
I lifted my shirt and I said, Gary, I'm unarmed. Come out in the street and let's fight. What he could see was the empty knife sheath in this pocket and an empty knife sheath in my rear pocket. When the officers came to inspect me, I lifted my shirt for inspection. Officer Joyner and Officer Nelson, and also Sergeant House inspected me. I did a full, complete turnaround. The only weapon that I did have on me was a smaller pocket knife. They mistook an empty knife sheath for the butt of a gun. With my shirt up, I displayed Gary, who my fight was with, and I called him out to the street for the sole purpose of beating him up for invading my privacy.
Sit down.
And that's how the gun incident came about.
This is what I don't believe what you just said. I believe there was a gun. That's only one episode. The second one, that was really invited comment. And so I don't have 2. I have 1, and that's not enough for repeat violence. So I will decline to an injunction for you. I do believe the first time, I believe it was a firearm, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So I'll decline under injunction.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sir, I have witnesses. I have witnesses that saw me leave my house without a firearm.
No, sir. I did not grant the injunction.
Okay.
I don't believe you. But that's not enough. It's got to be 2 times. There's all ones. So I'll grant the injunction.
Mary dismisses. Thank you.
Judge Moxley? Getting back to her testimony about me disemboweling her, can I explain to you why I made those comments to her?
There's really no justifiable reason for saying that. I mean, it's conditional threat. See, if you have my daughter raped, I'll disavow you. So it's not an existing threat that can be used for repeat violence.
Okay.
So if you said it, shame on you. Shame on you. Don't do that. But it doesn't mean that an injunction should be granted, sir.
Okay, sir. Well, what I was going to tell you is half of her testimony was perjury, and I do have witnesses to back up my testimony.
The important part is, did you say those words?
After they said that they were going to side me with
Listen to my
her.
question. Did you say those words?
Yes, sir, I did.
That's what I figured you did. But that's not enough, because it's a conditional threat.
Okay, sir.
Next would be,
Fast.
Valerie, sir?
You're on this.
still on.
You got 3.
Silsberg.
Yes, yes, sir.
You sound so tough.
I do.
Can you tell me what occurred that caused you to seek injunction?
There was a bunch of issues with Mr. Woodward and my boyfriend, and apparently the neighbors right next to me. And Mr. Woodward was coming on our side of the block and was making a commotion, calling everybody names, calling everyone out into the street, threatening our children. He had called the police on one of my boyfriend's kids. And so he wouldn't come onto our property, but yet he was out there trying to call everybody out to fight with him. I honestly, the first 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, was kind of just trying to get my boyfriend away from there. He has epilepsy. I was kind of concerned about that. And I was telling Mr. Woodward to just go home. I just wanted them to split up at that point until one of the times I did have an altercation with him myself and told him pretty much his daughter was not as innocent as he thought she was. He went on to accuse my kids of, and he accused my 8-year-olds of being bastard children and was using profanity with my kids. And this had been the 3rd occurrence with such things.
Don't do that, sir. I'll grant the injunction right out. You say it one more time, you're done.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Woodward, did you understand what I just said?
Yes, sir.
What you can relate is what happened to you that was violent. See, the problem is it's your injunction.
Right.
And it's for repeat violence. So what happened to someone else or your children, you're not doing it for your children. You're doing it for yourself.
Right.
You are the petitioner. So you need to tell me what violent acts were done to you.
None at all.
Okay. It says here that there was a firearm displayed to you.
It was not displayed to me. It was to all of us. We were all standing together. It wasn't directed directly toward me.
Did you see a firearm?
Yes, I did.
When you saw a firearm, what was your state of mind?
I was afraid.
Okay. Was there any other instances other than the firearm?
Not with me, no.
No threat of violence to you? Was violence threatened to you?
We were threatening each other.
Okay. Back and forth?
Yeah, it was exactly that.
Okay. Have you been stalked?
I feel that there's no reason for him to be coming by my house with all of the children in the front yard or yelling at my kids from across the street, which scares them. And that to me is intimidating because I do have to work and I have 6 children that I'm trying to raise. I have 3 8-year-old little girls, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 14-year-old.
Are they all your children?
No, 3 are his and 3 are mine.
Your significant other,
Mm-hmm.
3 children in the family. He's got custody of it?
We have custody of all of our children.
Okay. So we've got primary then, you got
I have
primary.
We're the Brady Bunch.
All right. Let me tell you what repeat violence is and what's not.
Okay.
Repeat violence is not designed to say, you need to act so, you need to act cordial, you need to act like a good neighbor, you need to do the door to door, you need to be good. It doesn't do that. What it does is, if some violent act or threatened violent act is done to you, you can get a repeat violence injunction. The firearm counts as 1, there's got to be 2. So I can't grant your injunction because it's not repeat violence. That doesn't mean I condone behavior. It just means it's
I
not.
understand. I understand.
Okay? It doesn't solve the problem,
Right.
but repeat violence is not designed to solve the problem that you all have about neighbors not being good neighbors, not taking care of the children. It doesn't do that. It's designed to keep violence from happening.
Okay.
Okay. You just have to see outside.
Thank you. Mr. Wood.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have a signature right here, and I'll change the receipt and a copy.
I apologize for my outburst. I am a mentally disabled veteran who's medicated, who suffered head injury and combat stress, and I don't control my actions very well.
Get back to you.
Hello.
We have Leon. Is Barbara here?
Barbara's in the courtroom. I need you to bring on the stuff. Thank you.
Raise your hands again. You all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes,
God.
sir.
Yes, sir.
What is it that you say constitutes a people officer?
In this case, I would have to say that they're not guilty of repeat violence, but repeat harassment, so it doesn't apply.
Thank you.
Gary Lee? Yes, sir.
Cast.
It's
It still said cast.
okay, they didn't write all of it down. Okay. Everyone raise your hands. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What happened? They cost you the signature.
Can you please tell me the date that I sought it?
I look for a date on the petition. It was subscribed and sworn to on 8/13/2012.
Was that at the time the term of office?
That was the Monday after Big Saturday. That was the Saturday.
Oh, okay. So the reason I sought the injunction was the threats to have my daughter sodomized, raped, beat up, and our house burned down with us in it.
From whom?
From Terry Blake and Jennifer Nobles.
Okay, Jennifer's not here.
There's no person.
What's Gary Gardner's girlfriend's name?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's Gardner's girlfriend's name?
Jessica.
Jessica.
She's not responding.
Okay.
Let me ask you, other than yours, what
That was a large street battle.
street battle in terms of people fighting each other?
My drunken retired sailor came down and decided to pick a fight.
What's his name?
His name is William Smith.
William Smith. Who did
Yes.
you fight with?
He decided to pick a fight with these people over a sign that says no hillbilly. He took offense to it.
Okay.
We were originally just going to walk my dog down to his house, but because he was drunk, he decided to go to the Henry house and the Blake house and start the fight all over again, in which they had earlier had a confrontation with William Smith.
Fight. What's the definition of fight?
Fight.
Flesh on flesh, fist on fist.
No, just a verbal confrontation.
Okay. No weapons?
No weapons.
No contact?
No contact, just a verbal shot match.
Same thing.
So William Smith comes to my house, he tells me about it, and I say, well, William, you're drunk. Let me walk you to your house. I gotta walk my dog anyway. So we begin down our driveway, and William makes a beeline to their house. He wants to start the fight all over again. I follow behind William. Mr. Smith lives at 1112 Lane Avenue, which is approximately an eighth of a mile from my house, down Lane. He's a friend, yes, sir.
So, Mr. Smith,
No, sir. I stand back with my dog. I have a beagle and black lab mix. Just a cuddle bug. She's asleep there. I stand back because I do not want to engage these people. We've already had one engagement that turned out very nasty. William decides he wants to engage. I stand back just to make sure he doesn't get gang busted by a bunch of people because he's drunk. When I see that things turn ugly, I call my wife Barbara, and she comes and gets the dog. I still remain back. And the taunting, the name calling, the threats escalate out of control on William's side. William Smith. He continues. He won't shut up. Roger Pecor picks up a baseball bat or a golf club. I can't remember which. I think it is a golf club at that point. Pecor. He's one of the people right there. And says, come on, let's get in the yard. Let's do this in my yard. Once you get in my yard, you break the law. I'm going to whip you. Then you go to jail.
Now, Roger's not subject to this injunction.
Yes.
So,
Now, he's one of the instigators of the entire mess that we're dealing with now.
it sounds like William Smith and Roger Pecor are the deal.
Yes. Now Gary has been quiet.
Yeah, there's much more.
Yes, there's much more to it, but Gary remains
Him
quiet.
standing back where he said he's standing back, that's a picture of him and William right in front of my house together.
I'm getting to that. Okay. Once I realized that things were escalating out of control, they start to insult me, and then being that I don't control my anger very well with my disability, I engage in the fight also.
You say engage in the fight.
I engage in the confrontation. Conversation.
Not a good conversation, but a conversation.
Yes. I immediately start to call them out to the street, in the middle of the street, where it's public property. I know better than to go on public or private property and engage in a physical confrontation, because that makes me a lawbreaker immediately.
There's a term called afraid, A-F-F-R-A-Y. You fight in public, it's a misdemeanor. It doesn't matter, it's on a public street, it's a private street.
Yes, sir.
Private property.
Yes, sir.
It's afraid.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter who's involved. It's a public right. Why? That's supposed to be public right. It's not tombstone.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
What do you say they did was violent?
They did nothing violent until Kim and Jessica come out to the street. This is after Carrie Blake made 2 threats against my daughter. She says, I'm going to have your daughter sodomized, raped, and beat up, and then I'm going to have your house burned down. And she made the threat twice. That sent me into an emotional rage, at which point I could not control myself. William Smith had to restrain me. Kim and Jessica come out to the street to engage me, to further taunt me into a more rage, and make more threats against my daughter, which really fueled my rage. That's when I made the comment that I'm going to disembowel and eat your guts to them, to Carrie Blake, and to whoever was around. Once they brought my daughter into the fray and made threats against my daughter, I lost my mind. I admit that, Judge. I completely lost my mind. They can pick on me all they want to, but when they attack my daughter or make verbal threats against my daughter, I completely lost my mind. He can attest to that. They can attest to that. I am guilty as charged, Your Honor. I completely lost my mind when they made the verbal threats. I was ready.
Does your disability preclude you from working, sir?
Yes, sir, it does. I'm completely retired from the VA. I am on Social Security disability. I am under psychiatric care.
What percentage disability do you have?
100% permanent total. I have a traumatic brain injury, and I also suffer from combat stress, which they also know I have combat stress because we were friends at one time, so they know my background.
Are you working now, sir?
I work at the Cape.
You got there.
We're cleaning up the building out there that they keep the satellites and stuff in. I work for.
Officer, do you know how many officers?
I had a chance to say my side of what's going on here.
Well, generally, if it's not an hour, I'll give you a second chance.
It's not enough, it's worse. Okay.
Hello, guys, how you doing?
Of course, sir.
For the record, no, you don't need. What's your name, sir?
Sir,
Officer Brian Nelson.
Also tell everyone.
Officer, can you run it?
Okay, let me say about the actual they have other things to do. We're not Orlando, fortunately. These folks need to be about securing safety and citizens of this city. They don't need to be I'm not going to grant you an injunction either. I haven't granted any injunction. That doesn't mean that is a license to behave like an idiot. I understand your circumstances, but don't. I'm not granting an injunction, but their concern is that by me not granting an injunction, that's not refuse the case. What I'm saying is, stop. Make believe you're in church. They got other stuff to do. They don't want to hurt.
What do I do when he's walking? I'm like the neighborhood dad in our neighborhood. There's always 10 to 20 kids playing around my house. I'm not, it usually is good, but when there's a man standing in front of my house with a weapon on the side, a knife and a gun,
I've already addressed that.
that's my reason for wanting an injunction.
I've already addressed that. I said I believe there was a problem. The problem is it has to be 2 acts of violence.
There was another act with the dog.
I've already ruled
on it. Does that mean that you're just saying no to me now? Repeat violence is, listen, if we were talking about domestic violence, if we were talking about you all live together, totally different. Repeat violence is the hardest injunction to get, because basically what you have to prove is 2 criminal acts, or stalking, which is a repeated pattern of conduct over a period of time that causes significant emotional distress. Hard to get there. Domestic violence, if you live together and you were victimized, and there's something that's happening that makes you think you're going to be victimized again, then it's y'all who live together.
Right.
So it's really a stranger violence, and the reason we apply the 2 is because they want to make sure there's a pattern. And it has to be violent acts, it has to be assaults. And assault doesn't mean just saying it. Let's kill the umpire, everybody in baseball here be arrested. No, it's got to be something more. Does this mean I diminish what happened? No, it doesn't. I don't. Yeah, but it's just that it's not repeat violence. And these folks will come out and enforce this, but it doesn't have to be that way. Let them be about the city's business. Okay?
I'm not calling the police like just because he's walking a dog or anything.
Listen, I heard you. I know what you're talking about. I found it was a firearm. I always, look at that.
stop coming in front of my house to refill for everyone who comes by. I mean,
I understand that.
I thought that would be a lot helpful.
Let me tell you, where I live, there's this neighbor. He's antagonized everyone by being a jerk. Does that mean I hereby get some repeat violence injunction against him? No. He's just a jerk.
So if you come by your house with a gun and threaten to stab your dog in front of the kids.
I've already addressed that. I know you want to go back to that, but you say it's got to be two. You don't got two.
That's not true.
No. Two means different time, different place. It can't be all one. Different time, different place. Publix, Winn-Dixie. So that's the deal. I'm not going to grant it. Just bear in mind, these are public servants. Don't waste their time. Thank you.
There's 21 seconds more than.
Is that the end of the publication?
Yes.
All right, well, let's take a short recess, let everybody stretch their legs. We'll come back at 10 till 3, according to the clock.
I'll check when the boys come back. The boys are back. The sun is out. With a beautiful Earth